I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead ends. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, 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 yeah. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. You smell that? Something smells like Victory Monday in the house. The Tennessee Titans win an improbable, an unexplainable, a flat-out inconceivable game against the Arizona Cardinals. That's right, folks. The Tennessee Titans won a football game, and they are now 1-4. Their first win since November of last year. Their first win after 10 straight losses. The Tennessee Titans 22-21 over the Arizona Cardinals in unbelievable fashion. Moments that
as Amnesia said in the chat, could only at times be described as divine intervention that led to the Titans' first win of 2025. I don't even know. We even got Colts fans in the chat celebrating this Titans victory yesterday. So this game was one of the craziest that I've seen, just in terms of plays, like plays that only happen once in a blue moon, but there were numerous plays like that in this game that were just like, what in the world? You know, the Titans in their first 4 games, the story was the Titans kept it close for 3 quarters, and then the other team would pull away in the 4th. It's what happened nearly every game. Yesterday, the Arizona Cardinals pulled away for the first 3 quarters, and then the Titans made it close in the 4th. It's stressful either way, but I do prefer that one because at least this one resulted in a win. The Titans looked atrocious for the first 3 quarters of this game. There's no other way to say it. They looked horrible. And, I mean, defensively, I guess they settled in after the first few possessions because early on, it looked like Arizona was just going to score every time they got the ball. But the Titans' defense did settle in, and we'll talk more about that. But the Titans' offense was every bit as bad in the first 3 quarters of this game as they were against Houston last week. They were every bit as bad, if not worse. The only difference is Joey Sly made his field goals. Against Houston, Joey Sly missed his field goals, but against Arizona, he made them. That's the only difference. That's the only reason the Titans even had 6 points through the first 3 quarters. Okay? The Titans' offense was atrocious. And the only reason they even got one of those 2 field goals from Joey Sly in the first half is because Chimere Dike had a great kickoff return that pretty much set him up for that field goal. So it was awful through 3 quarters. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. This right here, Cam Ward looked lost through the first 3 quarters of this game. He looked lost. And I'm sitting here going, listen, I know it's only week 5, but like this regression is starting to get out of hand from just week 1 to now. He's overthrowing guys. He's throwing it too low. He's throwing it too high. He's not throwing to open guys. He's not seeing open guys, either that or he's just not pulling the trigger. He looks like he's not comfortable. And the offensive line played well through all 4 quarters. The offensive line had one bad rep that I can think of, and it was the one before half where Cam got sacked on the 4th down. It was 4th and 10, and something that Cardinals brought a blitz, and Dan Moore, for whatever reason, just looked inside, and the guy came from outside. But outside of that one rep, I thought the offensive line was really, really strong yesterday. I thought they were great through all 4 quarters. But Cam Ward, through the first 3 quarters of this game, I mean, he was just... it was bad. He couldn't hit anybody. And then Amari DiMercato is running in a 72-yard touchdown or whatever early in the 4th quarter that's going to put the Cardinals up 28-6. I mean, this game already felt over, but then he breaks off that run, and I'm like, well, I mean, this is it. Like, the Titans fans that are there about to start heading to the parking lot. I'm going to turn this thing to the Red Zone channel. Like, this is officially about to be dunsies. And then Amari DiMercato, as he's going into the end zone, lets the ball go at the half-yard line. Lets the ball go. How is it still happening in 2025? All I know is that in that moment, Amari DiMercato, God bless the kid, his 3rd year in the league, I think. I don't know how many years he's been in the league for Arizona, but he went from being the hero that put this game away. In 1 second, he went from being the hero that put this game away to being the Weenie of the Week. Weenie of the Week. No weenies allowed here, Amari. And that was a weenie move. You let the ball go at the half-yard line that would have put you up 28-6. And next thing you know, there's no weenies allowed here. No weenies allowed. Next thing you know, you're the weenie of the week. Because after that, what happens? Like, the Titans get the ball back after he lets the ball go through the end zone. And how in the world do the Titans offense, how does it go from looking like they can't do anything all day, looking like, I mean, it's not even professional football, to all of a sudden, we're just chunking it down the field. Cam looks confident. He looks like a light switch has been flipped. He's chunking that ball deep to Calvin down the middle of the field. Unbelievable throw. He's chunking the ball to Gunnar Helm on the sideline over there down to the 2-yard line. Unbelievable throw and unbelievable catch by Gunnar Helm. Then we get a touchdown. It's like, how in the world, like, what happened? Where was this for 3 quarters? Not just 3 quarters, but all last week against Houston, we looked like we couldn't even get a first down. And then out of nowhere, it's just like, here you go. Easiest looking thing in the world. Get a touchdown. Callahan should have gone for 2. He doesn't. The football gods agreed because Sly misses the extra point. So it's still a 2-point game. You know what happens from here. I'm not going to be Skip Bayless and recap the entire game. But Titans get the ball back and you get another one of the craziest plays you'll ever see. Cam gets the ball tipped, intercepted. And then as the Arizona guy's trying to get up with the ball, he loses the ball. And then Arizona, I showed my wife that highlight last night, and she said the only thing missing is the music that goes, like, she's like, the only thing missing is that music. Because, like, they're just kicking the ball around, the ball's going everywhere, and then it ends up in the hands of Tyler Lockett in the end zone for a touchdown. And that was the moment where I was thinking, like, dude, we might win this game, because if that kind of crap is going our way, it might just be that the football gods have determined that the Titans must win this game, because this is just insane. Amnesia in the Super Chat said, look at what happens when you're not playing with a losing mentality and play with some purpose. This team was sunk mentally until that TD fumble. So you had the interception that turns into a touchdown for the Titans. I think so Cam said on that play that got tipped and picked, he said Calvin was wide open in the end zone. That's where he was trying to get it. Defender got a hand on it, tipped it into the air. Whatever. Either way, it ends up as a touchdown for Titans. But the throw, when the Titans got the ball back, down by 2, trying to get down there, the throw to Calvin Ridley down the sideline to set up the field goal. Like, I could not feel my fingertips after that throw, because that is the guy that we signed up for. That's the number 1 overall pick doing what the number 1 overall pick should do. Like, that's what you wanted. Clutch, doesn't blink, no matter how bad it's going, he sticks with it. He was awful for 3 quarters. And then out of nowhere, with his back against the wall, you know who it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of this fella. Because if you were around back then, I'm not going to try to hang this on the wall again because I'm afraid I'll drop it. But if you remember back then, the Steve McNair experience was very similar. There were times where Steve would look awful for 3 quarters. But then, when you needed it the most, he would just randomly throw something together that made you go, oh, okay. Like, I guess we won. That was what you saw from Cam Ward yesterday. I would like to see more of what we saw in the 4th quarter through the first 3. But I mean, I was sitting there watching that first 3 quarters, and I was thinking, like, man, what am I going to say on this podcast? Because there are going to be people who are going crazy in the Titans world. There are going to be Titans fans who are going nuts because they think we drafted the wrong guy. He's a bust. He's regressing every week. We had it better with Will Levis. We should have kept Malik Willis. Like, there's going to be people wanting to draft another quarterback next year. There's going to be people wanting to go to Brandon Allen, for God's sakes. Like, it's going to be, like, that's where I was at coming out of that third quarter. I was like, what am I going to say? But here's what I've been trying to say for a couple of weeks now, and I think you saw it in action yesterday. Through the first 3 quarters of this game, Cam Ward was overthrowing guys deep. He was throwing them low, throwing them too far wide, not throwing to open guys. Like, he was struggling. He's a rookie in his 5th start. Struggling is not to be unexpected. I understand. We've seen the Jaden Daniels and the CJ Strouds of the world who just come in and look like veterans from the start, but they are the exception and not the rule. Most rookies, especially on rosters that are not great, with coaching staffs that are not great, they're going to have trouble. There's going to be times where they're struggling with their accuracy. Cam got sacked through the first few weeks of the season more than any rookie quarterback has in a long time. Yeah, I think it affected him. I think it affected his footwork. I think it affected a lot of things. And my big complaint has been, okay, if your rookie quarterback's going to struggle, let him grow, let him learn. But the team around him and the coaching staff around him cannot hinder his growth. If he's got to just naturally grow and make mistakes, like, okay, that's going to happen. But he cannot be hindered by people around him. He cannot be hindered by receivers dropping passes. And that still happened yesterday. In the first 3 quarters, you still had guys dropping passes. Some of them were not good throws that they maybe got their hands on, but it wasn't an ideal situation. But some of them should have been caught. If Cam's going to struggle and have to grow and learn things, that's fine. But he can't be hindered by bad play calls, bad route combinations, bad protections, guys watching guys run right by him. And what we saw yesterday is the ideal experience. Even when Cam Ward is struggling, the offensive line is giving him protection at least. And I thought Bo Hardegree's play calling was better enough than it had been last week, that it at least made it to where it was a Cam Ward thing. We're going to leave it up to you. We're going to take care of our business and trust that you'll figure it out and take care of yours. And he did. You've got to give your rookie quarterback just a chance to grow and learn. And through many games so far this season, I feel like Cam Ward was not afforded that opportunity because he's getting sacked in 0.5 seconds, or his receivers are dropping passes that are right in their hands, or a bad play call or bad route combinations. So it's just like yesterday, even though Cam Ward was bad through the first 3 quarters, I can tolerate that because at least it's on him. You're the rookie. You got to figure it out. We're giving you an opportunity to do that. I feel like the offensive line in particular gave him that opportunity yesterday. I thought Bo Hardegree in particular was better enough that he gave Cam that opportunity yesterday. And when it came down to it, and when it was left up to Cam to either do it or not do it, he did it in the 4th quarter. And I don't know how you could possibly be upset with that. I understand there are people today, I get this, who are saying, well, Arizona handed that to us. That was literally a case of Arizona with just a comedy of errors over and over for Arizona. There's no reason Tennessee should have won. Okay, but first of all, you know as well as I do, a win in the NFL is a win. I don't care how you get it. I don't care if it looks beautiful like what, Dallas did yesterday to the Jets. I don't care if it is some luck along the way. I don't care. A win's a win. You need to be grateful for everyone you can get, especially when you're a team like the Titans that hasn't done a whole lot of winning lately. But also, what did I tell you last week? For all of you who were already saying we need to just lose as much as possible to ensure we get that number 1 pick, did you see Cam Ward's face when that field goal went through and the Titans won? That smile, high-fiving teammates. The locker room was bumping after the game, everybody going crazy. Yes, even Brian Callahan hugging his fellow coaches. Now, I don't want to treat it like it's a Super Bowl or something because we got more games to go. I don't want to just treat this like whatever, but you mean to tell me you don't think that's beneficial? What happened yesterday for guys like Cam Ward and Femi Oladejo and Gunnar Helm and Alec Ioman, like you don't think that was beneficial for this team to just experience that? You don't think it was beneficial for Cam Ward to lead that drive at the end? To not just win, but to win because he let him down there to do it? Like, there's no downside to that. And I'm glad the Titans won this game. I don't care if Arizona had a bunch of comedic errors, whatever. I'm just glad the Titans got a win. I'm glad Cam got to experience that. And here are some players I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Y'all are wanting to give credit to a lot of people. Let's list them. I got a list of guys. The first one I put was Cam Ward. I've already talked about him, so I don't want to dwell on this too much. But, I mean, listen, it's not always going to be pretty with rookie quarterbacks. Of course, when you're on a team like this and it's iffy and whatever. But, I mean, even if you have been a Cam Ward doubter, when you watch that fourth quarter yesterday, you see what's there. You see the potential that's there. You see that this guy can make some special throws, and if he can just grow and learn and be properly coached and get the proper talent around him, you could have that guy. You could have that guy. And it was on full display yesterday. And you might sit there and say, well, the fourth quarter he had does not negate the first three quarters. I actually think it does. You're going to hate me for that, but I think it does. If you are going to march down there in the fourth quarter and lead a comeback and have nearly 200 yards in just the fourth quarter, yeah, I think that makes up for not playing well in the first three. Stupid me. I think it does. EJ in the Super Chat said, DeMarcado for Weenie of the Week. You missed it. He is the Weenie of the Week. I gave him that distinction. Amnesia in the Super Chat said, Callahan needs some love also. Him not going for two kept the offensive momentum. Going for two there and missing it would have killed all the momentum. I'm getting to Callahan, Amnesia. I know. I'm getting Callahan. Okay. But Cam Ward, I thought, people were getting ready to hit me with their, well, Will Levis should have done this and we should have. Get out of here. Get out of here. Scram. Some other guys, though. Some other guys that I thought were really great yesterday that helped the Titans win. I got to give a shout out to Calvin Ridley. We've been hard on Calvin Ridley. He's getting paid a lot of money. He's had some drops. He's, not been great through the first four games. But yesterday, Calvin Ridley showed up. Yesterday, Calvin Ridley showed up and did what he was supposed to do. Caught the ball on the big play to set up the field goal. He called his shot, held his hand up, told Cam, throw it to me. He did, and that was what we wanted from the Cam Calvin connection back in training camp that we were so excited about. First time we've really gotten to see it on display in an actual game yesterday. I thought Calvin Ridley was great. I really did. I'm not going to be hard on him when things don't go well for him and then just not mention when he plays well. I thought Calvin Ridley was great in this game, and he deserves credit for that, and I hope he can keep it up. I thought Gunnar Helm was great. I just wish they'd get him more involved. I think Gunnar Helm's great. I think the catch he made on the sideline down there was fantastic, and I just wish we'd get him more involved. I think he could be a great target for Cam Ward. He's a rookie too, so those two can grow together. I want to see more Gunnar Helm. I think he's great. The offensive line, I've already mentioned them. I thought the offensive line did what they needed to do. 2 sacks given up, and I think one of them was on Cam because he just held on to the ball too long. But I thought the offensive line was great. I thought that, I haven't seen any film breakdowns just yet, but I thought that Dan Moore held up. Again, I'm not going to dog him when things don't go well and then gloss over when things do go well. I thought Dan Moore and everybody on the offensive line played exceptionally well yesterday and put the ball – they put it in Cam's hands. They said, we're not going to let you be bad because of us. We're going to do our job so that you can have a chance to learn and grow and do yours. And somebody mentioned, Jonathan in the chat mentioned Ali Udo, backup right tackle, who's had to now play 4 games. I thought he was really good yesterday. Don't look now, but you might have some pretty good tackle depth, because I thought Ali Udo played well yesterday. And he really, I mean, when you consider the defensive front they were going up against in Houston last week, he really wasn't terrible last week either. So the offensive line was great. Somebody mentioned Chigakonkwo. I'm going to throw Chigakonkwo's name out there. I thought this was the most rookie Chigakonkwo that we've seen from him. This was another thing that just suddenly came to life after DeMarcado fumbled that ball through the end zone. Or I guess fumbled, whatever. Chigakonkwo all of a sudden just turns into Superman. And he's making, that move he made in the open field to make 2 guys miss was great. He's making big catches down the field. I know we talk about the big play to Calvin to set up the field goal, but the play before that to Chigakonkwo was a 16-yard gain. Chigakonkwo finally coming to life. And it's okay, now can we see more of that, please? Where's that the first 3 quarters? There's that playmaker that I remember from his rookie year. More of that, please, sir. Who else? That's on the offensive side of the ball. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Jeffrey Simmons, man, I gotta put the microphone down. I just gotta give it up for him, dude. I gotta give it up for Big Jeff. I mean, we talk about a lot of things that Brian Callahan says that we don't agree with, but let me tell you one thing I do agree with that I heard Brian Callahan now say on multiple occasions. Jeffrey Simmons is playing at as good, he is playing at as high a level as any interior defensive tackle in this league. He is unreal. He is playing, I would venture to say, Jeffrey Simmons is playing the best football of his career right now. He is playing the best football of his entire career right now. And I will reiterate, I do not want to trade him. It would be a mistake to trade him because he is only 28 years old. He has many years of good football ahead of him, if not great football ahead of him. And I would rather see him play those years with the Tennessee Titans and not with somebody else so that we can sit here and whine about another great player that we let go who's going to go be great for somebody else. Which, by the way, I just want to mention, Calvin Ridley has more receiving yards on the season now than A.J. Brown. And Tony Pollard has more rushing yards on the year so far than Derrick Henry. I just want to say it, and then I'll leave it alone. I'm just going to leave it there. But no, I do not want to trade Jeffrey Simmons. I think he's that good. I think he is the heart and soul of this defense, and I think he is the heart and soul of this team. And they should not trade him. I don't care if somebody offers you a first. Whoever you're going to pick with that first-round pick will not be as good as Jeffrey Simmons. I'm telling you right now, Big Jeff is the man. He is unbelievable, and he was great again yesterday. Get ready for this one. I am going to give some credit to, or a lot of credit to L'Jarius Sneed. L'Jarius Sneed, I thought was one of his best games with the Titans. You will see in days to come in film breakdowns, L'Jarius Sneed played well yesterday. And last week I was angry with L'Jarius Sneed for that 2nd and 33 against Houston. And I still say that was unacceptable. I also thought if you watch Friday's episode, you already know, I thought my reaction to it was a little unacceptable. It was over the line. I went too far in some of the things I said about L'Jarius Sneed, and I shouldn't have done that. And I actually will go ahead and tell you, I went and edited it out. You can call me a wimp for that if you want. I went and edited it out. It's the first time I've ever done that on this channel. I went and edited it out of the video because I thought it was just too much. I'm not going to say I used profanity or vulgarity or anything like that, but I called him a trash can and all this stuff, and I was angry, and it just felt like it was too far. So it is with great humility, great humility today that I come on here and tell you L'Jarius Sneed played a very good game for the Tennessee Titans yesterday. And the play with DeMarcado losing the ball through the end zone, the Titans narrative is going to be that L'Jarius Sneed came and impacted that play. I don't know if he did or if he didn't. I think the guy was probably going to let the ball go even if he was by himself. But the principle is that L'Jarius Sneed was there. He ran down there. And, maybe his presence sneaking up on the guy. Maybe that startled him. We'll never know. We'll never know what was going through the guy's mind. But it's a good look for L'Jarius Sneed either way, because he ran down there. He was there, and he was the one telling the officials, if you go back and watch live after DeMarcado thought he had scored a touchdown, L'Jarius Sneed was the one looking at the referees and saying he dropped the ball. It's a touchback. So I was glad to see, because you know what? I have accused, again, great humility, I say this, I have accused L'Jarius Sneed of not wanting to be here. I have accused L'Jarius Sneed of phoning it in. That was not a guy that was phoning it in yesterday. That was not a guy that was phoning it in. The fact that he was chasing that dude down and trying to make that play and maybe helped make it, whatever, that tells a bunch of jokers like me that I was incorrect in saying that he was phoning it in. So it was a good game for L'Jarius Sneed. This next one I was not expecting. Let me get a sip of my drink for this one. Bro, Jiad Ward. Jiad Ward, number 53. The presumed fourth edge rusher on the team behind Key, Jones, Oladejo, and then him. This dude had 4 pressures yesterday. I think I saw somewhere he's getting the second most pressure of anybody on this team behind Jeff. And I think Arden Key got hurt in the game yesterday. I'm down to give Jiad Ward. I mean, my goodness. Jiad Ward? I mean, he had a sack. I know he had. It was actually after the Titans went down and scored the touchdown on the Pollard touchdown run, made it 21-12. Jiad Ward came back and got a sack on the next play to set the Cardinals up with 2nd and 20. Like, that's huge. Jiad Ward. What? We got 2 Wards helping us win right now. So I'd like to see, I mean, because he's only playing like 40-something% of the snaps, but he had 4 pressures yesterday. And before that, he was getting pressures in games in the past. Okay, let's give him more chances. We got a guy who's getting in the backfield on a team who desperately needs somebody to get in the backfield. I want to see Jiad Ward get more playing time. I mean, my goodness. You would tell me he can't give you what Draymond Jones is giving you? I mean, come on. Let's see if he can keep it up, man. Good for you, dude. Using the opportunities you're getting. I got to give Jiad Ward a shout out. I thought he was really good. Cedric Gray, another defensive guy I'm really encouraged about. I think Cedric Gray, he had 17 tackles against the Texans last week. He had 12 against Arizona yesterday. Cedric Gray is everywhere. There was one play in this game where it was a pass. Dude, the receiver's like, it maybe been a screen. He's trying to make some guys miss. And like there were 2 Titans defenders who were trying to catch up with him to tackle him. And then out of nowhere, Cedric Gray just came flying over there to make the tackle. Like, Cedric Gray is playing some really good football right now, and that's really good. Anytime you can find a young player on this team who's playing really well and getting better and better, that's awesome. So Cedric Gray is one of those dudes. He's playing really good football right now, really good, and I think he's the best linebacker on the team. I think he's playing better than Cody Barton. I think he is. Cedric Gray, fantastic. I'm going to give Kevin Winston a shout out. I know he only played on special teams yesterday, but I'm just giving him a shout out because Kevin Winston finally got to play in a game. He's the safety that the Titans picked in the 3rd round. He has not played yet because he's coming back from injury, but he played in the game on special teams yesterday. I know I saw on one punt return, he laid some guy out, so he's getting physical out there. I'm glad to see Kevin Winston in the game for the Titans. I haven't seen what all he did on special teams, but just a shout out to him for finally getting to play in a game. Glad to see that, and I hope we get to see him at safety soon. I'm going to give a shout out to Chimere Dike. I think Luke in the chat was talking up Chimere Dike earlier. Chimere Dike might be a Pro Bowl punt returner on this team. Like, he might make the Pro Bowl as a kick and punt returner. Chimere Dike, again, you tell me it's not a big deal, but in the first half, when our offense was doing nothing, Chimere Dike's kick return in the first half set us up for a field goal, which didn't feel like a big deal in the moment, but we won by 1 point. If Chimere Dike does not have that big kick return to pretty much set us up for a field goal before our offense even went out there, we don't win that game. Chimere Dike is doing a great job as the kick and punt returner, and also He got open for 2 deep balls on, I think, the same drive, and Cam missed him both times. That was 2 bad misses by Cam. He overthrew him both times. But Chimere Dike, the reason they drafted him is because of his speed and being able to beat guys deep across the field. He did it twice yesterday, and Cam just missed him. But if they can start connecting on those, I'm telling you, I think Chimere Dike could be a weapon for this team. Absolutely. Who else? I'm going to give Joey Sly a shout out. I know Joey Sly missed an extra point really bad yesterday. He missed field goals last week. I'm a little worried when he takes the field. I was worried when he took the field for the game winner. But I am going to give Joey Sly a shout out because this was the first game winner of his career. This was his first game-winning field goal of his career. And you know what? Good for him, man. I know I'm a little worried when he comes out there because he's missed some kicks. But dang it, he made his first game winner yesterday, and I'll give him credit for that. Good for him. I'm going to give some credit to Bo Hardigree. Not that I thought the one call I remember that I hated was when the Titans opening drive, we were like running the ball well, and then we do the wildcat with Spears. It was like, dude, we're running the ball just fine, handing it to Tony up the middle. Like, why? And then it ended up being like a 2-yard gain, and it put us behind the chains. So I didn't like that call. But other than that, I thought Bo Hardigree was better. I thought there was a lot more play action yesterday, and that's what I'm talking about. If Cam's going to miss some throws because he's a rookie and he's growing, that's fine. But give him the opportunity to do it. Good play actions, offensive line protecting, leave it up to Cam. Just leave it up to Cam. Whether it's win or lose, leave it up to him. And the Titans did that yesterday, and I thought Bo Hardigree was better. I thought it was the best called offensive game for the Titans this year so far, but that's not saying much. And with that, I will talk briefly about Brian Callahan. Let me get a drink, and this is just Coke Zero, but let me get a drink for this. Because I hope y'all don't want to fight me for this. I think Brian Callahan still had some moments in this game that were unacceptable. Down 21-6 in the third quarter, we had 4th and 1 and then 4th and 3, and we punted both times after we went for it on 4th and 10 at the end of the first half. I just don't get that. I don't get it at all. I know it worked out. We won, whatever, but didn't like that. Not going for 2 after the first touchdown. A lot of people didn't like that. I don't think it was egregious because if you make the extra point, it's still a 1. I mean, you got to go for 2 at some point. He was going to do it the next time, but whatever. But there were still moments here, like the end of half sequence again. The final 2 minutes of the first half is just the witching hour for the Tennessee Titans and Brian Callahan. So there were still a lot of things from Callahan. They were just not great yesterday. With that being said, I will also say I still believe he's not going to be the coach next year. If they go right back to playing how they were, he's probably not even going to be the head coach in December. Okay. But he knows that. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for 2 weeks now. He knows he's getting fired. Him giving up the play calling duties a couple of weeks ago was the death knell. He knows he's getting fired. I mean, unless this team just goes on a miracle run, he's getting fired. And he knows it. So in that degree, like, I don't think yesterday's game saved his job. I think it saved his job for the moment. It gives them the opportunity to hold on to him another week, But he's not going to be the head coach of this team next season. He's not going to be the head coach of this team maybe even by the end of this season. But I said this on the video yesterday, and so I will just say here, as a human being who has had a miserable month, everything that could go wrong in the first 4 games went wrong for Brian Callahan. He knows his hot seat is in ashes. I believe he is working hard. I believe he wants to win. I believe he wants to be good. It just hasn't worked out at all. As a human being, I felt good for him yesterday. As a human being, I felt good for him yesterday. Not saying that he saved his job, not saying I want him to be the coach of the future. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when I saw him hugging his coaches and the relief on his face after the game, I was just like, you know what? Good for you, man. Good for you. I don't know if it will last. I don't know what, but like, good for you, dude. Good for you to get to have this experience tonight with your team, because it's been a miserable month, and I know it. I know you have got to be miserable after the way this first month has gone. So good for you that you got to win. I as a human being, I can't help but look at Brian Callahan in that moment and be like, good for you, man. Go celebrate. Go celebrate. Good for you. You're not going to be the coach next year, I don't think. You're not even going to be the coach by the end of the year. But good for you that you had this, you know? So the big question coming out of this, and I know it's Victory Monday, we want to celebrate because who knows how many opportunities like this we're going to get this season to have a Victory Monday. And so I don't want to be a downer, and I don't think this is a downer, but the question is, what next, right? Last year, the Titans beat the Texans. This was their last win. The Titans beat the Texans in November. It was undoubtedly the best performance the Titans have had under Brian Callahan's coach. I mean, absolutely. That Houston win last year, if you remember the one I'm talking about, it was like Will Levis's one of his best games of the year, his best game of the year. The Titans beat Houston in Houston. Like, that was their best performance under Brian Callahan. And we all wondered at that time, you can go back and listen to my podcast, whatever. I said at that time, could this be the beginning of a late season surge? Like, are the Titans going to be able to get a little momentum coming out of this season? And you remember what happened the next week? Because I went back and looked to be sure. The Titans came out the next week and got absolutely blown out by the Washington Commanders, like 45-19, I think. And it was like 28-0 by the end of the first quarter. So the Titans were not able to carry over that momentum from that good win at Houston, where they were really excited that they just won a game. But then they came back the next week and they came out flat. They just got absolutely destroyed by Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. So the question now, and I know the Commanders, that's a tough opponent to go up against after you just got to win. But now I look and I say, okay, this team was fired up yesterday after winning this game. And I said yesterday, that fourth quarter of this Arizona game, that was the most fired up that I have seen this Titans team in a long time. They were excited. They were running around. They were jumping up and down. They had momentum for the first time since like week one, maybe. A little bit of that Denver game, they had some momentum. So I think the Titans are excited to have won this game. But how do you follow it up? Because there's one of two things are going to happen here. Either the Titans are going to revert right back to what we saw in the first three quarters of this game. They are going to revert right back to not being able to protect, not being able to catch, not being able to hit the open guy, not being able to call proper plays, not being able to do this and do that. And they're not going to be able to score points. Like, they're either going to revert back to that, or the other option, which is my preferred option, you take some momentum from this. Now that you have tasted what it's like to win, you take that and you say, okay, we're going on the road against Las Vegas, who looked horrible yesterday against Indianapolis. They got they looked awful. Awful. So on the surface, you would think Las Vegas should be a winnable game. We'll talk more about it on Friday, but should be somewhat winnable because the Raiders don't look good. So what are you going to do? Are we going to revert right back to what we were doing before? Or are we going to actually carry over some momentum and let this be the beginning of something? Because I don't know. I can't tell you one way or the other. I know last year when the Titans randomly got that big win over Houston, it was not the beginning of anything. They came back. They lost the rest of their games. They got blown out the very next week. It was just a one-hit wonder. So is that what's going to happen here? Or do the Titans actually carry it over and come out with some momentum against Raiders on Sunday? I don't know. I mean, the Titans got some very lucky breaks yesterday, but they got them. Is that enough to make them come in this week ready to work hard and get this thing even better? J.C. Latham probably coming back to the lineup at right tackle. So the offensive line that's playing well might get even better. I don't know. But I going against the Raiders, I mean, like I said, they look horrible. The Raiders look horrible. In fact, I watched some of their game against Indianapolis. They look about every bit as bad as we do. I mean, there's some bad football being played. The Jets, oh my gosh, are they horrible. The Panthers looked horrible for the first little bit, but at the end of that game, it was the Dolphins that looked horrible. I think Mike McDaniel will be fired. But Amnesia said last night's game showed this team plays better in go-for-it mode and not so conservative. Hopefully they realize it and adapt to this new style. I agree with you, Amnesia. I do, because in that fourth quarter, backs were against the wall. You had to have it. It's the fourth quarter. We're down by 15 or 21-6. We got to have it. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We can't wait till later. We got to go now. And that's when it finally started clicking. So we need that urgency throughout the entire game. Like, where's that urgency? Where's that aggression the entire game? That's been one of our big complaints about Callahan's offense, right? They're so slow and so conservative. And when they actually had to start throwing the ball down the field because they were down by so much and they had to hurry, like, they finally started getting something going. So I would just like to see more of that in quarters 1 through 3 instead of waiting till the fourth when it's desperation mode. Now, I haven't done this all season, but I will talk about some other games that happened yesterday. The Vikings beat the Browns in London. I will admit I didn't watch any of that game. It was early in the morning. Texans destroyed the Ravens. I can't believe the Titans and the Ravens have the same record. But the Texans, they got back on track. The Texans did, and they're 2-3. I think they got a bye coming up. And the Ravens, they got a lot of injuries, but they look lifeless right now. The Saints over the Giants. All of y'all that tried to talk about Jackson Dart and how he's better than Cam Ward because he got a win before Cam Ward. Did you watch Jackson Dart yesterday? He was not good. He was not good against the Saints. He was not good at all. And he really wasn't that good in week 1 when he played, but they just happened to win in spite of it. I'd rather have Ward. The Broncos beat the Eagles. Broncos starting to look like people thought they would look. I mean, this is a good win. I mean, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with the Eagles because they got 2 wide receivers that are due to be paid, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Neither one of them, especially A.J., seem very happy right now. So we'll just sit back and see how that goes. But like I said, Calvin Ridley, more receiving yards on the year than A.J. Brown. Just want to say that. Cowboys over the Jets, 37-22, and that score is not even indicative of how bad this game was. The Cowboys absolutely destroyed the Jets. The Jets scored some garbage time points late, but don't get it twisted. The Jets are horrible, and the Cowboys whooped them. Colts over the Raiders, 40-6. I said this on X yesterday. I'm going to call it like I see it. I can't stand them, but the Colts are a good football team. They're really good. They're just clicking on all cylinders. Daniel Jones, playing great. Jonathan Taylor playing great. Like, I can't stand them, but I can't deny the Colts look great. Panthers over the Dolphins, 27-24. Bad news for the Dolphins. I mean, this was bad. The Dolphins went up 17-0, and then they got outscored 27-7 the rest of the way. Just not good. Not good at all. The Dolphins are headed for a new head coach, I believe. Bucks over the Seahawks. This was one of the most fun games of the day, 38-35. Just love what Baker's doing in Tampa Bay. Seahawks are my sleeper team in the NFC. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I've been saying it before the season, even though they lost this game, the fact that they were right there going back and forth with Tampa Bay. Feel good about Seattle. And then Titans, Cardinals. We've already talked plenty about that. Commanders over the Chargers. What's going on with the Chargers? I mean, the Chargers started this season so red hot, and now they just look like they lost to the Giants last week, got whooped by Washington this week. What's going on? They look like one of the best teams in the league through the first few weeks. Now they're kind of slacking off. Lions over the Bengals 37-24, and I don't even think that score is indicative of how lopsided this was. The Lions whooped them. The Bengals are in crisis mode without Burrow. And then last night, the old Vrabelites, the old Vrabel game. You just had to know Vrabel is going to drag Josh Allen and the Bills down into the mud and choke them out. And that's exactly what the Patriots did. But I do want to say this, though. Drake May played such a good game last night. I don't know how many of you watched Patriots-Bills last night. Drake May, so many times looked like the Bills had him dead to rights, and he would just find somebody. Stephon Diggs went off. I mean, Titans got to play the Patriots in 2 weeks in Nashville, and I still feel like that might end up being D-Day for a lot of people. But anyway, that's week 5, Victory Monday. Go enjoy Victory Monday because, like I said, who knows how many of these we're even going to get this season. So just enjoy the fact that we have one. We're not going 0-17. We're not going to be the first 0-17 team in NFL history. It ain't going to happen. So appreciate you guys. Two-Tone Talk. Be back throughout the week. God bless you. Titans.